Oh, yeah. Let's talk about America's team. Jeff Risdon going to join us from Lions Wire. We'll talk about Hard Knocks as well.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions, everybody, on the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is Matt Dery. Thanks for joining us and being a part of your day and Wednesday here. Thanks for making us your first listen right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Lions and Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, Greg Gumbel on the call Sunday at 4:30 for Detroit and Pittsburgh. Starter's going to play probably 2 quarters. I don't think you're going to see Jared Goff. It sounds like Mitch Trubisky is going to start for the Steelers. But we'll get into that today with Jeff Risdon, our guest from the Lions Wire, lionswire.com, USA Today. He is there each and every day down in Allen Park, and we're going to talk to Jeff coming up momentarily on the program. Thanks for making us your first listen, as I said. And we are brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedon NFL. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page, and if you're watching, you are watching on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel. So thank you for tuning in and joining us today and checking us out on YouTube. We appreciate your viewership, listenership, and all of that. All right, Hard Knocks episode 3. Last night, the Lions did a evening practice last night. And then the Hard Knocks show, of course, at 10 o'clock, whether you watched it on HBO or streamed it on HBO Max. Couple of quick items about last night. I thought the show was really good. I thought the first one was great. I thought the second one was okay. I thought last night was really entertaining. I was entertained by some of the stories, but what I love most is the in-depth video and audio that they have, especially during games. And the joint practice stuff with the Colts was awesome. I love how the players had to walk through the woods to get to the field. I thought that was really, really cool. The Jamal Williams versus Zaire Franklin stuff was great. And I love Dan Campbell jumping in and going, all right, enough, to Jamal, almost like that's enough. Deuce Staley not having a voice, screaming at his players. Jared Goff hitting some of the deep balls and just some of the camera angles that they had on that I thought was great. So I really enjoyed last night's show. The story of Obina Eze, the right tackle that's trying to make the team easy, as the coaches call him. I thought that was cool, with his wife being in the stands at the game, and some of the Khalil Pimpleton stuff. I really enjoyed it. Dan Campbell continues to impress. He continues to deliver with some of the speeches and the pants that held the dust on them that he taught. I don't know. I was entertained. I was enthralled with last night. And I thought it was really good. And I understand and I get why Lions fans are so optimistic, so excited for the season when you watch these episodes and you just see how close-knit and how together this group is. All right? In past Hard Knock shows, we've seen players unhappy, players wanting to be traded, players holding out. And they've got the backroom discussions, and they've got the sit-downs with these guys like, hey, none of that takes place here. This is, they really have turned into America's team, and people nationally have been enjoying the show. So I thought some of the angles last night were great. I would assume that we're going to see something on Okudah in the next 2 episodes and his comeback from the Achilles tear, and maybe something on Tom Kennedy. We'll see. Certainly cut down day coming up after the next game. And the prospect of going up against the Steelers this week, and how physical Pittsburgh is also, I think, is a great backdrop for the final preseason game for this football team. But I thought a lot of that stuff last night was really, really good on Hard Knocks. And again, you can watch it on HBO and HBO Max. And I'll say this, if you're on Instagram and you follow them on Instagram or Twitter, I mean, they're constantly putting out material. It's almost like you don't even need to watch the show, because they put out so much material on social media with previews. So, you're going to get access to it. All right, we're going to talk to Jeff Risdon coming up momentarily. First, as you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free post, a job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond, the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Many of you are on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, usually during the day, a lot of times checking things out and posting things and learning. And I love LinkedIn. So add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. Here's what I want you to do. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster, right? Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Jeff Risdon, LionsWire.com. USA Today covers the Lions, does as good a job as anybody. Joins us today on the program. What's up, Jeff?
Good to be with you. Thanks for having me back.
Man, we were just talking before we hit record. Excitement level through the roof for this football team. I know it's only heading into week 3 of the preseason, but can you kind of feel that same vibe, or are you still like, hey, look, football's still football. They still have to win some football games to get you excited?
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between. I really do feel the excitement. I like this cast of players, being over in Allen Park and just the optimism that's there, the energy that's there. It's so very different from what we've had in really the last 2 coaching regimes. Obviously the Patricia thing didn't go well. Jim Caldwell was good at what he did, but what he did wasn't necessarily the most exciting thing to take in. It wasn't something that like inspired the troops to run through a wall or run a hill after practice on their own. And seeing that happened last night, they ran Mount Patricia. The defensive line did again, and not just once. They were going up there a lot. It's kind of fun that this is the team that they've become. I'm really enjoying that part of it.
Hard Knocks and you being in the building and obviously, down there on the sidelines with the rest of the media, with all the cameras, how big of a difference is it for you, and just what are you seeing?
So I done Hard Knocks before. I was with the Browns when they did it in 2018. I actually got on screen a couple times, which is kind of cool for the family and everything. But we're used to seeing the cameras around. The Lions have camera crews. Like every NFL team has 5 or 6 camera crews. They're filming things from all angles. The Lions actually have a drone now that flies out and shoots over it to get like the sky angle, which is kind of new. So they're extra. They're certainly more like you don't see. They have the giant booms, and you don't really see that from the Lions camera crew. So there's things that are different about it. There's more technical advisors running around. Video production is very different from, when you're just doing it to watch it in-house, but to actually like clean it up and to know where to focus on each play. They have a couple of different technical advisors that are out there with, the earpieces in, telling people where to go and what to do. And that's kind of fun to watch, actually, especially in like the lulls of practice when they're working on special teams or something. It's kind of neat to turn around and like, that's how they do that. Okay.
Fans have asked, would this be a distraction? And it's like with Dan Campbell and like you said, the Lions doing their own content, and they've done it before. I never thought it would be. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, and I've talked to a couple. I talked to your Colts counterpart Jake Arthur the other day, and asked him what it was like from his experience doing the in-season one, and he's like, after about the second day, we didn't even know they were there, and that's very true. That was true of the Browns when they did it. It's just they really are wallpaper. Like you're so used to being on camera all the time when you're at the building anyway, so that it really doesn't make that much of a difference.
Jeff Risdon with us. All right, we're two preseason weeks in. What stands out for you? What do you like? What don't you like? And what are you maybe most looking forward to on Sunday?
Yeah, I have enjoyed watching both the offensive and defensive line play better than I think expected. And I think we expected the offensive line to be pretty good. They're better than that. They're they are dominant. It's been fun to watch, especially Vaitai as the left guard. Look, there's still a lot of people that are sore about his contract. Y'all are going to have to get over that. The guy is a really, really good football player, and his contract isn't preventing them from signing anybody else, so I don't know why you worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, he and Sewell together have a chemistry that it's fun to watch those two. And Jonah Jackson evolving at left guard into a great player in his own right, a Pro Bowler in his own right, and they're honestly probably the weak links on the offensive line. Like this, it's a great problem to have. Watching them specifically, I was not in Indianapolis, but I watched a lot of the footage of it and the coverage of it, and the way that it was talked about that they were moving people in the run game. That's something that translates. That's a pretty good Colts defense that you're talking about. That's a Colts team that's going to win the AFC South. And the fact that they bullied them with their offensive line. And then you go into the game. Logan Stenberg has been the worst lineman in practice for most of the last 2 years. Frankly, I was surprised he was still around. And then he goes out and has the game of his freaking life in Indianapolis, where he's like an angry bouncer at a country bar at closing time. Like, y'all got to get out the club, just throwing bodies around. It was awesome to see it. He actually talked with us after practice last night, and we were sheepish in asking him about it, but he had a pretty good attitude about the whole thing. Like it was neat to see that. And then like the defensive side of the ball, I expected Aleem McNeil to be better. He's gotten a lot better. I think Aiden Hutchinson coming in right away, like there is absolutely no doubt he is a very good football player. The high floor was legit. Like we still don't know about the ceiling. That'll come in the regular season, but there's no doubt that his floor, like you don't have to worry about this guy being a bust. There's no chance of that. And I think you're seeing Charles Harris on the other side playing well. Isaiah Buggs as the backup nose tackle and rotating in has picked up quite a bit in the last couple of weeks and has sort of eased some of the doubts about it. And he had a good game in Indianapolis. And you're seeing the strength in the trenches, which is kind of the vision for how you build a team from the inside out, or at least how this regime wants to build it. And it seems to be working pretty well. And that's timeless football. Like you can go back to the 1950s, and if you got a good offensive and good defensive line, your team's not going to be bad. They might not be great, but they're not going to be bad. And that's kind of the way I feel about this team. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but I know they're not going to be bad. And like there is a differentiation between the two. And as Detroit fans, we know what that line is. And I feel very comfortable that this is not a bad team.
You look at it and go, okay, Romeo Okwara is going to be out 4 games. Josh Pascal is going to be out 4 games. Yeah. Austin Bryant has all of a sudden become a very valuable member of this team. And you watch Hard Knocks and you hear Dan Campbell constantly lauding AB. Hey, great job, AB. He's stepping up big time, isn't he, Jeff?
He is. I actually talked to someone last night at practice who under the Lions employment who told me AB is camp MVP. And I won't use the exact quote because it was somewhat profane, but it was basically he's healthy and he's going to show you that he's healthy. And he's got the chip on his shoulder. Yeah, he's been fantastic. It was again great last night. He got an inside rip move on Penei Sewell that Sewell had no prayer of stopping, and it led to what was whistled as a sack. He's been Indianapolis nonstop. Like he's been really, really good, and he sort of helps. I don't know. Like it sucks that you're not going to see Romeo Okwara because I like that guy and I hope that he gets back. But I'm thinking it's more than 4 games to be honest with you. Just he's a private guy, so he's not going to let you in on what he's rehabbing. But from what I've heard and what seeing him walk and seeing him move even just a little bit, he doesn't look that close to being ready to go. And you know. Paschal, who knows what's going on with that? It's probably 4 games. It could be more. Then you got Anzarike. Who knows what's going on there? That's a big question.
It's the second round jinx, Jeff.
It very well might be, man. And it's frustrating because I was never crazy about Levi O as a prospect. I loved Paschal coming out, and I was so excited when they got him. Like aside from the fact that he's a very easy story to tell as the cancer survivor. He did the dental office ad. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Go up on YouTube and watch that. But he is a lightning outside in pass rusher who can play down. He can play, like he does so many things that they want to do defensively, and did them very well at Kentucky. And I was very excited. It's unfortunate that we saw him for 2 practices in minicamp, and he hasn't been out since. That's been tough.
Jeff Risdon with us from the Lions Wire. I want to ask him about the back seven a little bit, and also the offense. We'll do that coming up next. I want to tell you about our friends at BetOnline. First, though, the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs, Lions over-unders, all that stuff, still sitting at 6.5. Put some money down. If you're interested in that, you go to betonline.net to get all the information you need. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games, reviews, and news of every league, not just the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information. From live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts, they have you covered. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Jeff Risdon with us from the Lions Wire, does a great job covering the team and has been all over things throughout training camp. Jeff, I always credit you because I said you were the first one to say, listen, this team is not going to play 3 linebackers on the field. We're going to see a lot of different looks. As you look at linebacker and defensive back right now, and I want to get to this Okudah-Will Harris competition, which I don't think is a good sign for Okudah, but what about linebacker? I mean, Rodrigo, my gosh, this is crazy, right? Did you see this coming?
No, and I liked him a lot. In fact, and I have the receipts on it. I wrote it at Lions Wire in November that you were looking at a 6th round Detroit Lions draft pick right here. I didn't think it would work out as well as it has. He has been really, really good. I honestly, I think he's gotten a little overhyped. Like he's not Chris Spielman yet, folks, but he's certainly like,
yeah, I know
he's on the right track. And you know, I have an agent friend who compared him on Twitter to Zach Thomas as a rookie, and you know, people took umbrage with that. I'm like, the physical traits and the mental processing are both there. It's just a matter of him translating it onto the field. He's going to start. There's no question about that. Very excited about that. He's a good one, and he's an easy guy to root for. We've seen that on Hard Knocks. The ladies love him. I know the ladies in my family love him. Very, very, very fun, great camp story. Rest of the linebackers, I mean, Alex Anzalone, he looks good, and I will give him credit. He didn't practice a lot last week. Last night in the last padded practice they're going to do, there was a situation where they were chasing Brock Wright down the field, both he and Rodrigo, and Anzalone ran past Rodrigo to go get him. Like you see, there's a lot of people that wonder, like, what does he offer this team? Well, he does have pretty considerable athleticism. He is a smart football player. He has been a little bit careful. The switch to a more aggressive scheme, honestly, it really fits him as well as it fits any other player on the defense. It sort of tailors to him. The coaches trust him, and that matters. So he's going to be out there a lot. Seeing Derek Barnes kind of up and down this summer, played really well in Indianapolis, and that was encouraging. Had a good night last night. When he gets squared up with somebody, they're going down, and that's what you want first and foremost from your number 2 linebacker. And again, thank you, by the way, for recognizing that they are only in fact going to play 2 linebackers. I've said this a couple times. I've been at just about every practice. I have seen 3 linebackers on the field for exactly 10 reps the entire summer. Wow. And they were in a short yardage goal line package where the offense had 3 tight ends. That is literally the only time you will ever see more than 2 linebackers on the field. So,
wait, so let me interrupt you. So do you think Okudah, Harris, and Oruwari are just always going to be on the field? Do you think it'll be a third safety? What do you think?
My initial thought was that it was going to be a third safety, and that has proven wrong. Although when Ifeatu Malifa, easier for me to say, is healthy, he is their starting slot safety, and he will be the guy that's out there against the Kelseys of the world when they flex out, against the George Kittles of the world. I know they don't play them, but like your receiving oriented tight ends that line up in the slot, they're gonna have Malifanu out there as the safety. As the corner, I still think AJ Parker is going to be the starting slot corner. I'll say this though, I think Jerry Jacobs, once he gets back, he told me not too long ago that he's been working really hard at learning the slot. He's going to be ready no later than week 2. So factor that into the mix. But you're going to see, the winner of the Will Harris Jeff Okudah battle, and it's probably going to be Okudah, barring something weird happening, and Amani being out there the full time. But that slot position is kind of a flex position for them. Where if it's a tiny slot receiver that they're going against, it might be AJ Parker. If it's a bigger, more speedy receiver, it might be Jerry. If it's a big, tight end type, it might be Iffy, or it might even be Chris Board sliding out there as a hybrid safety linebacker. That's sort of the way that they've done it in camp, anyways.
Any surprise cuts? Is there going to be any names? I mean, I don't think Jared Davis would be a surprise. I think for some fans it would be just because they know the name. But anybody that you could see going after Sunday?
So there are a couple of guys that are on the bubble, and Quintez Cephas is a big one. For whatever reason, Lions fans seem to have him as this mythic, he's an incredible wide. Yeah, exactly. The natural replacement for Kenny Golladay. I've heard that one a couple times. I'm like, he's so much smaller than Josh Reynolds. I can't even express to you that he is so not that guy. He is 6 foot tall. He's 206 pounds. Like, he's muscular, but he is slower than every single linebacker on the team. That's Quintez Cephas. So he's good at what he does, and there could be a spot for him, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's gone. The one to watch, and really it's Julian Okwara. He's hurt again. He hasn't done a lot other than rush the passer at the end of last season to show that he's an NFL football player. He's terrible against the run. He's been passed on the depth chart by a couple of guys now. Like Austin Bryant has smoked him away. The 6th-round rookie James Houston isn't there yet. He's not ready, but he plays the same position. And if they're worried about losing him, what I think is going to happen with Julian Okwara is that they're going to put him on the initial 53 and then immediately flip him to IR. So he's not lost for the full season, but is gone. And I think that's the way that's going to handle that. Yeah, Jared Davis. I did an informal poll of 3 different guys last night, 3 different reporters said, hey, Jared Davis, yay or nay? And all 3 of them, thumbs down, no hesitation either.
Yeah.
He's very behind Anthony Pittman right now in the pecking order.
Final thing for Jeff, the offense. We've talked so much about the defense, but other than the offensive line, but how do you like what they're doing? Obviously, it's been very vanilla in terms of the play calling with Ben Johnson last week. If they're not going to stop that counter play, just keep running it. But in practices and stuff, does it seem like Goff is more comfortable to you?
Oh, definitely. It's a much better Jared Goff. I'm bullish as you can be on Jared Goff without drinking a lot of Kool-Aid. I think he's going to prove to be. Look, is he going to be the Pro Bowler that he was in 2018? No, he's not. He's not that guy. But with his trust in the weaponry and with the way that Ben Johnson has designed the offense, he's not going to be the guy that stunk up the joint in the first half of last year. You're not going to see him being the worst-rated passer. He's not even going to be the worst-rated passer in the division, which is kind of nice to see. They're capable of doing a lot more with Jared Goff this year, in part because DJ Shark is out there, because Amon-Ra has emerged as a stud, and he's lining up all over the place. So one of the things that they've been working on lately is Amon-Ra and TJ Hawkinson working sort of in tandem and really giving defenses a lot to process. And it's working. It's going to be fun to watch that. They're going to be able to run the ball. I have no doubts about that. It would be fantastic if DeAndre Swift tried to run somebody over with his considerable muscle mass instead of trying to run around them. Jamal Williams is what he is. Craig Reynolds is what he is. He's a snowplow of a third running back. They've got depth there. Look, this is a team that's going to have to. Their defense is not going to keep teams from scoring a lot. So this is a team that's going to have to win 31-28, 35-33, and games like that. And they do have the ability to do that. Not every week. There's going to be some games where they just can't keep up. But there are going to be games also where you're going to be like, wow, fantasy players here. This is nice, man. Some Lions are finally a DFS option for some people.
Jeff, as always, thanks so much. Appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Jeff Risdon with us from the Lions Wire, USA Today, and Basketball Dad, by the way. And joining us here on Locked On Lions, the Wednesday edition of the show.